Morning guys, it's Infidel 1258 here. I want to do a quick video talking about Libra, the new, the white paper that Facebook has put forward proposing their future cryptocurrency, if you can call it that, and I'm not really sure you can, that will work like something like a stable coin on the Facebook platform to allow, it sounds like payments cross peer to, like on the platform, peer to peer. Um, Peer-to-peer is kind of questionable. To pay for goods and services through like Facebook Market, possibly on Uber as well, because they're partnering, and perhaps some other things. It's a glorified stable coin. They're gonna collect fiat currencies of various kinds from around the world, store them securely, and then that will be the backing for their essentially crypto fiat is what I would call it, Libra, and Libra is the name of it. And so I've been hearing, obviously, people are excited because it's Facebook, 2.7 billion users getting involved in the crypto space. And that is exciting. And I think that's indicative of what we've always talked about in this space, which is, the pursuit of institutional adoption. This is this is part of that. This is where we see big companies like Facebook saying to the world, this really does have value, this technology, decentralized ledger technology, and we are implementing it. They, but it's funny because it's not they aren't adopting it. They want, when I say they aren't adopting it, like I mean blockchain, decentralized ledger technology. Decentralization is important and key to that term. Libra's not decentralized. It'll be under their central authority. It'll be just like any other fiat currency where you have to trust the governing body, in this case Facebook, that they will keep the underlying asset, those fiat dollars, international fiat currencies. They'll keep them safe. They won't spend them. They won't um, print more Libra than they can justify based on their reserve currencies. And you can already imagine what will happen. This will be. First of all, do you trust Facebook now with just your personal data? You shouldn't, let alone your money data, like your actual purchasing power. And then on top of that, it'll be um, uh, it'll be fractionally reserve lended by themselves. They're going to create more Libra than they have underlying asset to support, because why wouldn't you? It's literally a license to print free money. This is the problem with fiat currency. The governing body, in this case Facebook, can print as much of the Libra as they want, and they can give 100 million of them to Zuckerberg for free with with him putting no money into the system, and every other CEO and every other high-ranking official and any other sponsor. Like I heard Uber was sponsored. I think Visa sponsored it. There's a lot of big sponsorships that are sponsoring it with millions of dollars. They're going to get 10 Libra for every dollar, whereas you're going to get 1 Libra for every dollar. And that is fractional reserve lending. That's the beginning of what used to be called coin clipping when we use silver as money. They take away a little bit of they undermine the value of the unit by printing more than the underlying um, asset that provides the value for the coin in itself. So it's not a good thing because it's not decentralized, but it is indicative of um, institutional adoption of blockchain. And that's exciting because it seems to be kind of green lighting some major moves. And this week we saw Ripple announce, we got Brad Garlinghouse from Ripple announce that a partnership with MoneyGram, not just with MoneyGram, they've been partnered with MoneyGram for several months, but MoneyGram was originally just using the Ripple net to expedite their cross-border remittances, and that's great for Ripple, but it does nothing for the XRP token holder like me. maybe like you. But now it seems like on the back of the Facebook stuff, um, Garlinghouse comes out and is willing to take that next step and say, we're going to start using XRP to actually um, further cut costs on our cross-border remittances and alleviate the need to have these escrows, these fiat dollar escrows internationally, which is how global remittances work, how banks exchange money internationally. They have a pile of um, fiat currency in Mexico. They have a pile in Canada, in America, China. Every country has a large pile of money just sitting there in the bank to close uh, the global remittance. So when you send money to China, it's going. The bank on the other end has to trust the bank that's sending it, and the bank on the other end is going to release the money before it ever arrives. It physically arrives because they have their own cache of cash, and so that's how it works. But we don't need to do that anymore. That's a trusted system. With XRP, we will use the trustless system of blockchain, and that XRP will move across the globe in 3 seconds, and that transaction will conclude, and the China bank will have that XRP, which will be sold into the market, and then they'll have the local currency. And so Libra is exciting because it seems to be heralding a next step of adoption by the institutions. Like I said, MoneyGram taking that next major step with XRP, but also, and MoneyGram's no joke. MoneyGram's 5% of total global remittances. That's huge. And XRP is going to be, because of this deal that I'm talking about, XRP is going to own between 5 and 10% of MoneyGram. So XRP is like setting up to own that world, man. I've been thinking that for a while. They're going to own the global remittance game. MoneyGram's the first major player that they're getting their finger into, but they're going to have a slice of Western Union soon, because Western Union came out this week too and said they had originally said no to XRP and no to RippleNet. Now they're saying, wait a second. No, no, we didn't say no. We're still interested. And so just watch. That domino is gonna fall, and it's all part of this ongoing kind of conversation of institutional adoption. It's happening. It's actually happening. People are seeing now, big and rich, deep pockets are seeing for the first time, Bitcoin's not dead. Cryptocurrency is not a fad. It is literally the internet of money. And while Libra isn't itself doing these things, it's adding some legitimacy to that conversation, which is going to trigger the change of some people's minds. And when I say people, I mean rich entities, corporations, deep pockets. And I think we've already seen that. And I think Libra's their attempt at it. It's like an attempt to implement it without implementing it. It's like Andreas Antonopoulos said. Um, I don't know. A couple of years ago, I saw him talking about the difference between private and public blockchains, and he's like, look, Bitcoin's a revolution. It's technologically brilliant, and it'll change the economic um, transmission of money. It'll change the storage of money. It'll change the trustlessness of currency exchange. It'll change data storage and the transmission of data. It can change so many things, social media, voting, and on and on and on. Because the blockchain is this trustless system. That's the key. That there's no third party that oversees it, that regulates how it's sent from one party to another, or who can own it, or who can use it, or um, it's trustless, and that's why it's trustable. We don't have a third party intermediary that we need to rely upon, as we always have with fiat currencies, and we will have to do with this Libra coin. And so that's the distinction here. We're looking at the difference between a private Libra and a public blockchain, Bitcoin. And the sad thing is, these dinosaurs like Facebook, they're admitting now publicly that that blockchain is revolutionary. They're doing so by adopting it. However, they're making the mistake that Antonopoulos said they would. They're gonna seek private answers, private versions, private iterations of blockchain, so that they can remain that central authority, that cornerstone, and they can keep taking a slice of the pie. They want to know your data. They want to know where you're buying things, what you're buying. They're going to track all of that, and they're going to monetize it as they've monetized your personal, usage on the Facebook platform, the Instagram platform. They're going to take that to the next step once they have this Libra coin. They want to stay in the middle of all of your transactions so they can own and sell and monetize you and all that you do. And so, of course, they're going to do a private version because their version of the coin, it cannot be trustless. They must be in the middle. Otherwise, they can't monetize you. So it's a trusted system. It has a trusted third party, and I don't trust them. And then, maybe I'll read a quote that he said. This is Antonopoulos. He said, "The problem. This is the problem with Libra coin." He wasn't talking about Libra coin when he said this. He was talking about private blockchains trying to be public, trying to get all the good things out of a public blockchain like Bitcoin. Listen to this. He said, "You can't have the revolutionary nature of Bitcoin while stripping it of all the things that make it innovative and exciting. Mainstream financial institutions want to adopt the efficiencies without the decentralization, the low cost but with control, the global nature but with censorship." And so Libra coin is exciting because it points to a next step of institutional adoption. And again, we're seeing that now with XRP, with MoneyGram, and I think coming soon with Western Union, and so much more. But it's the tip of the iceberg. And that's why you look at $10,000 Bitcoin and you can just say, oh my goodness, this is nothing compared to where we're going. Nothing. And so it's an exciting time. I'm extremely excited about crypto. If you've watched any of my previous videos, you know I'm slowly stacking crypto. I'm trying to get 1 Bitcoin. I'm trying to get, 10,000 Steam in my main account. I'd love to get 500 EOS. That's my next step there, and other things too. But it's not a sprint. It's a marathon. So I'm slowly acquiring as I can in a patient manner, dollar cost averaging, and I'm earning cryptocurrency for free every day. And that's one of my main things that I talk about on this channel. There's so many ways to earn crypto. You can too. It's not difficult, but it takes time and attention. And so if you're interested in that, you can check out some of my other videos. Today you could start by claiming 100 free dollars worth of cryptocurrency. Probably an hour of your time using Coinbase Earn and blockchain.com/get crypto. Those are 2 different websites, and check them out if you're interested. Links in the description. And guys, thank you so much for your time and attention. Leave a comment below. Be sure to like and subscribe, and find me on steemit.com for more content like this every day. God bless you.